Welcome back. Today's video about retiring broke in the Philippines with credit card debt. This is something you may or may not deal with. I have a lot of airline miles. I set out at the beginning of this year to get out of debt, or at least reduce it a lot. Have a lot of airline miles, and airline tickets, app reservations, hotel, which I have completely stopped booking. Agata and Airbnb saved me quite a bit more money. But at the beginning of the year, I wanted to really reduce my credit card debt. I don't want to get very personal. I don't feel like I got a ton of credit card debt, but of course, maybe like many of you, the interest is quite high. And I took the 6-month extension on my taxes, as I normally have a little more time in my schedule to work on my taxes, to give them to my accountant in July, August, September. And I started looking at this closer. Being here about 3 weeks to the end of the year, doing my end of year figures, I'm about $1,700 more in debt than when I started. A lot of this from airline tickets and booking on these apps, which I don't do anymore. I had enough of Agata. Airbnb is a joke. There is no reason to be paying these middleman services. Yes, it's not convenient at times. I will say that. I have had some good experiences. I would say more on Agata than Airbnb. Agata, some hotels or whatever, guest houses will run promos to attract people. And sometimes you find some nice places to stay, especially if you're like me. When my tourist visa ends, or like in this situation, before the 180 days, I will move on to the next country. And you find good spots sometimes, and you get some cheaper deals sometimes. If you follow my videos, sometimes that backfires. I had a few really negative incidents with Agata. Thank God my assistant was able to get it ironed out, but they are not easy to work with. And I was almost just out the money, even though the property was clearly had fake reviews and just completely misleading. But at this point, I have a good amount of go-to joints that I go to frequently. And sometimes I feel like I would maybe go to different places. However, it is nice being familiar with the place and looking forward to eating at your favorite spots. There's the Muslim girls over there in Bangkok that have some of the best fried chicken I've ever eaten. sometimes I feel like I eat there every day. But this last time I did my taxes, the interest was maybe equal to what I would be able to live on for about 2.5 months over here. Started in July when I left Nha Trang, Vietnam. I just casually looking for tickets. I found a ticket for Thai Airlines. If you haven't flown Thai Airlines, that's the closest thing to their regular class flights are the closest thing to first class. Served us a meal on a 2-hour flight from Vietnam to Bangkok. Very nice, very good. Probably the best airline food I ever had. But I mean, I try to avoid a lot of airline tickets. Even taking the bus from Bangkok to Cambodia. And I mean, is it inconvenient? Maybe a little bit, but I mean, by the time you go to the airport, clear immigration, hang out, catch your flight, land, clear immigration, get a taxi, which is 45 minutes, an hour away from Siem Reap, you may have saved yourself an hour and a half tops. You get free Wi-Fi on the bus, and it's $16, $17, and they kind of help you through the immigration process. So I mean, it's worth it. It was a good value. So the more you travel, you find these values. Chiang Mai was a very reasonable place, and Nha Trang, all very inexpensive places to hang out. But here at the end of the year, this is probably the next battle that's in front of me. It's going to be hard to go very far without addressing the interest. Again, without getting too personal, I mean, I don't feel like I'm in a whole lot of debt. Actually, if you're following the vlog or if you drop in, I have been a professional gambler for 25 years and then quit. The first year I was able to pay down my credit card. My credit cards stayed maxed out for the most part, most of my gambling career. That alone was, very helpful. But it took me a year. It took me a year, a lot of work. But those credit card advances for gambling should be illegal, frankly. You're probably better off with a loan shark. And I mean, the comments that I get, it's very mixed feeling. I mean, frankly, if I go back, I gotta charge an airline ticket. And then maybe a hotel. I am a maybe more of a foreigner in the United States than I am here, frankly. I get by on $100 for about a week. There, I would be surprised if I get by on $100 in 48 hours. And I would be charging, as I did when I first landed in El Paso, to liquidate my storage and then renew my passport and then head out on the road again. I was in a motel. If you're familiar with El Paso, it was reasonable. They raised the rent twice on me within 90 days. I mean, not just me, but they, raised the rent on everybody. There was, people going in and out, but there were people living there. El Paso, I found on accident while I was hanging out in another roadside hotel during the pandemic, and I had not been able to get an apartment. They were taking applications, but really weren't taking anybody. And then I went over to El Paso, was able to get an apartment for no lease, which that's what I wanted. And then of course, about 7 months into that, they decided they wanted to raise the rent a lot. And that's really where it became, A or B. I mean, I was like, well, for that price, I'd just rather go live on the beach in Mexico. I mean, it's not like I was working in El Paso, and cost there was, going up. So my, point behind that is addressing the credit card issue here or there. I'd have to probably go deeper to try to dig my way out versus here. Which of course is not fun. But I feel like I got a better chance here than I do there. Especially if I could stay away from those darn airline tickets. But we'll see here. Here in the Philippines, I can stay up to 180 days without securing a exit visa. I know foreigners that stay a year or 2 or 3 without exiting. It depends on what immigration you're dealing with, might allow that more than others. It seems the ones in Manila, seems like they will allow it. Dumaguete, from friends that hang out over there, seems like they will allow it. I had a Russian buddy over there that got a girl pregnant and had been there for 3 years at that point, and they were like, no. So he came to another immigration to try to get an extension. Had not talked to him in a while, so I wondered what happened. But it'll be interesting to see if I can't make any headway against my credit card debt. Even a little bit would be, great. Any relief in that department would help me, of course, go longer, right? I have no real bills in the United States, or anything for that matter. Behind me is everything I own. Backpack and a shopping bag full of sweated out clothes for the most part. Sometimes I get a free t-shirt or something, so I mean, I go through them pretty fast. Socks, shoes, shorts hold up, but being tall, it could be hard to come by some shorts as well. But anyway, thank you all very much for watching, and I'll catch you on the next video.